WAGA-TV, Atlanta. Brenda Wood, John Marler, Ken Cook, Weather, Jeff Hullinger, Sports, and the Eyewitness News team. This is Channel 5 Eyewitness News at 11.
Good evening. A soldier in the fight for justice. That is one description tonight of Ralph David Abernathy. The civil rights leader died in Atlanta today at the age of 64. Alongside Martin Luther King Jr., he created the civil rights movement. He was there for the March in Selma, there for the March on Washington, D.C. He was there when King was gunned down, and there to take over as head of the Southern Christian Leadership Conference. Hospitalized for the past 3 weeks for treatment of a sodium deficiency, Abernathy was about to undergo a lung scan today when he died of sudden cardiac arrest.
During that scan, his blood pressure dropped and went into cardiac arrest, and that was what caused, from there, took him to our emergency room, placed on a cardiopulmonary system, and from there was taken to the OR where he was pronounced dead.
Among those who rushed to the hospital, Martin Luther King III.
For one who opened or helped to open so many doors for so many of us, it's a very, very sad day.
Abernathy's final days were marked with controversy. This past fall, he upset many in the movement with his autobiography called And the Walls Came Tumbling Down. He wrote of Dr. King's alleged extramarital affairs.
Martin Luther King was not a Jesus. He was not a saint. He was not an infallible person.
On The Donahue Show, other blacks fought back.
But what he wrote about Dr. King, which was not true, Ralph would go down in history as the Judas of the Martin Luther King Jr. movement.
But that was said while Abernathy was still alive. Today, as the news spread that he had died here at Crawford Long Hospital, the book Controversy was all but forgotten.
I think Ralph was basically the loyal friend, and he was totally supportive of Martin. He helped Martin a great deal, particularly in those early days when Martin was very young and unsure of himself.
Ralph was the person behind the scenes. He was the technician holding everybody together. He was the glue that kept us all together as a team.
He inherited a difficult job. That was following Martin Luther King Jr. But he did that with determination and stubborn refusal to compromise with evil.
Late today, Mayor Jackson summed up a lifetime.
Because Dr. Abernathy dared, America is a more just nation.
Coretta Scott King tonight is in Zimbabwe. In a statement released by her office, the widow of Martin Luther King Jr. said she is saddened by Abernathy's death. She recalled his strength as a tactician and counselor to her late husband. In Washington, D.C. tonight, President Bush remembered Abernathy as a great leader in the struggle for civil rights for all Americans.
Abernathy's death came as a shock to his son, State Representative Ralph Abernathy III. He says only last night his father was looking forward to leaving the hospital. He talked tonight with Channel 5's Doug Richards at West Hunter Street Baptist Church, where his father was pastor. Doug joins us now live with more on reaction from there. Doug?
Brenda, during much of his career as a civil rights leader, during the Poor People's campaigns, during the voting rights marches, Ralph David Abernathy helped lead a movement while at the same time he led a congregation here at West Hunter Street Baptist Church. Tonight, his friends and family here at the church said they were shocked and saddened to learn of his death. Word of Abernathy's death stunned his family, who expected him to be released from the hospital today or tomorrow.
Well, we last spoke with him last night. He was doing fine. Everything was normal. And he was just ready to get out of the hospital, come back and preach at his church.
But tonight, his church was without a pastor. Abernathy had served in the pulpit here 28 years.
Our hearts are heavy now. Yes. But you can help us to bear the load.
West Hunter Street's Board of Deacons gathered for an evening session to try to figure out where to go from here and to remember their pastor.
What do you mean to me? It meant the whole world to me, I would say, because he was there like a brother. He really did. We were together so close. He's taught us and he's led us for 28 years, and so we feel now that he can never die in our heart. He will always be with us.
The church has not named a replacement pastor.
Well, I don't think we're going to ever replace him. We'll get a pastor, but I don't think we're going to ever replace him.
He was a man of God. He loved his church. And he loved the civil rights movement, and he loved poor people. And he spent his whole life trying to help the little man.
Abernathy, of course, will be remembered as a leader of the civil rights movement, but here at West Hunter Street Baptist Church, where Abernathy preached from the pulpit for 28 years, he will also be remembered as the man who preached in the pulpit longest of any other preacher in this church's 109-year-old history. Live at West Hunter Street Baptist Church, Doug Richards, Channel 5 Eyewitness News.
As of tonight, funeral arrangements have not been announced. It is expected the services will be held here in Atlanta. The Reverend Ralph David Abernathy, dead at the age of 64.